Welcome to another session of Keeping It Simple with Prashant Rajore. This is a series of interaction where people can ask their own questions. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat box here. And in a short while, Dhruv will be joining us, and then he will start asking the questions. It's been such a wonderful journey, participating and giving answers to many people. Many people have found their answers, they find direction in life, and it is wonderful, being of help to people around me. So yes, Dhruv's request has come, and okay, so he'll be joining us any moment now, and we're just waiting for him. Good. Jai Gurudev Dhruv, how are you?
I'm good, Bhaiya.
I'm very good.
Great, Bhaiya. So today we have a lot of questions.
Oh wow.
I hope we have time enough for every one of them, and then of course we'll take questions from the audience.
Okay, very good, very nice, Dhruv. It just shows that people are becoming more and more interested in whatever we are doing.
Yes, Bhaiya.
Very nice. Good.
Okay.
So you can start, Dhruv. Yeah.
So Bhaiya, the first question is, why is it hard to explain to someone or to read someone's mind?
Why it is hard to
explain to someone or to read someone's mind?
Yeah, that is how nature has designed us. Divine has designed us that no two people think alike. They have different viewpoints, and that is what effective communication is all about. Even the same word in different ways, it means different things. No, so we need to ask questions. We need to understand where that person is coming from, and in spite of our best efforts, also sometimes we are not able to understand where they are coming from. Why? Because it's just not through words. Communication happens through feelings also, and feelings change, words change, and sometimes we just catch on to the words, but there is a feeling behind it which we are not able to catch. Now even if the same word spoken differently denotes different things. For example, somebody says, "Don't you understand?" denotes something, and if a person says, "Don't you understand?" it denotes something else, isn't it? So there is feelings involved, there are words involved, and that is where effort is required, and that is where meditation helps. When we meditate regularly, what we become sensitive. We become sensitive to words, we become sensitive to feelings also. So when we connect to that, it becomes more and more easy to understand people. It's still difficult to understand everyone, but it becomes slightly easier with meditation, with Sudarshan Kriya.
Thank you, Bhaiya. So the next question is, the knowledge that we have, how do we know where or when to apply it?
Doesn't matter, whatever knowledge you apply wherever, it's okay. A little bit here and there is fine. Basically, if to make it a little simple, it's though it's not that simple, but to make it simple, excuse me, the knowledge can be divided into two parts. One is knowledge for the body, and the other is knowledge for the mind. Okay, knowledge for the body is taking responsibility, giving your 100%, giving your best, putting in your efforts. This is knowledge for the body. And knowledge for the mind is relaxation. So whether you talk about surrender, or you talk about faith, or you talk about accept people as they are, it is knowledge for the mind. And knowledge for the mind is relax, calm down. So there are two aspects of life, we work through the mind also, and we work through the body also. So one of our teachers coined this term, iPod: inner peace, outer dynamism. So our actions need to become more and more dynamic, and our mind needs to become more and more calm. Mm. So if you choose whichever direction, you will reach the same place. If you start becoming dynamic in action, you will recognize that you are becoming more and more calm. And if you become more and more calm, the real test of that calmness is that you become dynamic in action. If your calmness is not leading to dynamic action, then you have misunderstood knowledge. So to be able to do both, dynamic action and calmness of mind, that is the purpose of all knowledge. Okay.
Thank you, Bhaiya. So the next question is, it is said that we are always with our spiritual angel, and it is also said that Guru appears when the disciple is ready. What is true?
The disciple is what? Ready, yeah.
Yeah. So what is true?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There may be a guardian angel. Some people say, some people don't say. Uh, I have never personally seen any angels around anyone, but no, sometimes things happen. You close your eyes and suddenly you recognize that somebody hit your eye. Who made you close your eyes without any thought? You have not even seen in that direction. Sometimes you just close, and everyone has this experience. You do something without the five senses experiencing anything. In fact, sometimes people even duck, and something flies from the back towards them. And they have not heard anything, they have not seen anything. So some energy is there which has pulled them. So that energy, you can call it guardian angel or whatever. Different people can give it different energy, but all of us go through such experience all the time. And when the disciple is ready, the guru will come. When the honey is ready, the bee will come to pick you up. The fruit is ready, the farmer comes to pick it up. So that is natural law of life. No, when something is ready, the person who needs to collect that will come, isn't it? So that's obvious.
Very nicely said, Bhaiya. The next is, nowadays people are so much desperate to grow in their career, earn money. They don't bother to have work-life balance. This creates pressure on people who want to have work-life balance. How to balance this pressure?
See, that is the art of living. One is allowing people to do what they want to do. You might be feeling that they don't have work-life balance, but according to them, what they are doing is their work-life balance, isn't it? So allowing people to do what they want to do and maintaining what you need to do for yourself. So giving freedom also, maintaining your freedom also, and being happy both ways. Sometimes we give freedom, but we are not happy. And sometimes people give us freedom, but again, we are not happy or people are not happy. So that is that skill, to be able to maintain all that, giving that freedom to everyone, and yet maintaining the same freedom for ourselves, and yet loving and caring and sharing, and yet contributing to each other's life. So that is that thing which comes out of yoga. Practice of yoga. Yoga means, in Hindi you say, योग जो करता है उससे योग्य बनते हैं. And that capability is required, and that is why we need to do advanced course again and again. That is why we need to meditate again and again. That is why we need to do Sudarshan Kriya again and again. Why? Because then all those capabilities come where you are able to balance. For a person who, I forget, the rope walkers, it requires practice. It doesn't happen. And that skill and that whatever is there, efforts is required. So in the same way, our efforts are directed towards Sudarshan Kriya. Though meditation is effortless, but at least we have to take out time for meditation, isn't it? Take out time for advanced courses, and then slowly that balance starts happening. Okay.
Okay, there's a follow-up question. It says, so are there negative energies like that?
See, energy is our perception of it. Because of our perceptions, we term it as negative energy or positive energy, isn't it? When the breeze blows and it's very hot, you find it through positive energy. But when it is very, very cold, that same breeze becomes very annoying, it chills you up even more. So that time you say, oh my God, why this breeze is blowing? Can it not be a little slow? Isn't it? So it's only a perception. The sun is giving life and the sun is taking life also. The sun is giving so much life to us and it is even burning us. We feel so much heat because of the sun. So energy is there, everything is there. It's only a perception which makes it positive or negative. Okay. So anger is also a form of energy. But if you can give it direction, then it can do a lot of good. Isn't it? And that is where our sadhana practices, meditation. Again and again we come back to that. Why? It is that gold mine where everything is possible. When we meditate over a period of time, when we do advanced courses over a period of time, life becomes a possibility of infinity. Okay.
There's a question. If people around me say that even if I do 1,000 courses, I will not change. Bad people, all of them.
It's okay. Let people say whatever they want to. As long as you feel the change, it's fine. And that change is not sudden. It's not that you have anger and suddenly the anger disappears. And you're not expected to get rid of your anger. There is no knowledge point in any of the programs that don't be angry. Isn't it? Accept people as they are as a course point. Take responsibility as a course point. Don't be a football of other people's opinions is a course point. There is no course point in any place. Don't be angry. So you're not. It's an out of syllabus question if you're angry. And if people expect you to be not angry, then it's their bad luck. Isn't it? Anger is a tool divine has given you and you can use it as many number of times sparingly or many number of times. It is your choice. And just because you're getting angry does not mean you're not changing. Okay. And yeah, at another level, it is still the truth because at the depth, the core of our being, nothing changes. We are still the same. It's only the external things which change. Our core does not change. So it is true. You tell them it's true. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's something which does not change in me at all, which has been there for millions of years and is going to be there for millions of years to come.
So there's another question. How to experience devotion consistently instead of experiencing it as waves which comes and goes?
That is the right experience of devotion. Devotion is not going to be steady all the time. There is no experience in the world which is going to be steady all the time. The sun rises and sets. The moon rises and sets. We feel hungry and we feel full. We feel sleepy and we feel fresh. Isn't it? In the same way, sometimes we will feel devotion and sometimes we will not feel devotion. And just because we are not experiencing the sun, it does not mean the sun does not exist. It's there. It's just that we are not experiencing. Because we are not able to, we are awake, it does not mean sleep is not there. It will come when it needs to come. Isn't it? So when devotion is needed, it will be comfortable in that experience of waves is what life is. There is nothing permanent here. Everything is an experience in waves only.
Abhay, the next question is, how can I derive strength to create harmony within myself in my environment when I'm in the midst of a conflict?
Yeah, if you're in the midst of conflict, you don't have to create harmony necessarily. Okay. And sometimes little conflict is necessary also. Okay. So it depends, whether you want to be in conflict, you want to come out, you want to bring peace to others or not. And that strength will come from meditation, regular meditation, and regular Sudarshan Kriya. Every 2-3 months we do advanced courses. We add to our strength. But still, it is our choice. We want to be in conflict or peace. Sometimes we have to. We have to be in conflict. We can't say everything is going to be goody-goody. If you're a manager and you're goody-goody, your subordinates after some time don't listen to you. You have to take the stick. You have to scold them. You have to create that little conflict. They will not like you for that. But only when you take up the whip, then people work as a manager, isn't it? So these are all tools which have been given to us. And how effectively we use these tools is up to us.
Okay, bhaiya. The next question is, due to ignorance or avidya, we are trapped in the cycle of birth and death. But it is the Almighty who has designed and created avidya. What is the purpose of the Almighty?
Yeah, if somebody knew the answer to this question, then he will not give it to you. And person who tells you the answer does not know, isn't it? So we can just keep on asking the question. And I can only tell you one thing, this Guru Purnima, Gurudev talked about, the three stages, the three phases or three phases in a devotee's or life. One is the Pashu Bhav, thinking about me, and then graduating from that bhav means everything about me will be taken care of. The second is Veer Bhav. Veer Bhav means courage, being with courage. When that will happen only when you know that everything for me will be taken care of, no matter what happens in life. And then you start being courageous and you start playing your role. You stand up for people and you take a stance and everything. And the third, from there, after taking so many stances and everything, then you start seeing the Divya Bhav. Divya Bhav means what? Seeing that everything is a play. So that is what the divine wants us to see. See it as a play. And then why he has created this play, we may understand, we may not understand, but enjoy the play till the time we understand it. Okay, good.
The next question is, what is the connection between the heart or emotion and consciousness?
Yeah, it's connected, no? Consciousness is only driving the heart, isn't it? And what your heart is feeling is only giving strength to or direction to your consciousness, isn't it? So it's like, what is the connection between the driving wheel and the car? The consciousness is the driving wheel, and the car is your heart. Your consciousness is driving the car, isn't it? And if the car is also not functioning properly, the driving wheel is also of no use, isn't it? So car needs to be in harmony. Your heart, your mind, everything needs to be in harmony so that the consciousness can play its role properly, isn't it? Last question.
Okay.
We have time or
Be up to you. If you have
yeah, so
time.
2-3 minutes more we'll do.
Okay, sure. Alright. The next question is, how to be like a child? They forget everything in a minute, or always energetic or smiling.
Yeah, those were the good old days. And now we have grown up. We may not become totally like that, but the more we meditate, the more we do advanced courses, that consciousness starts acquiring that same flavor again. Okay, so let's see what life has in store for us. But meditate more, come back to the source, practice the knowledge, listen to Gurudev's knowledge sheets, and read them every Monday to Thursday. I read those knowledge sheets in English and Hindi. You can join those sessions, reflect on them, and if you think the pace is too fast or too slow, you can acquire this book, An Intimate Note to Sincere Seeker. It will give you little small insights into life, and those insights help us, rediscover the old good times. Okay.
So, where there's a comment about where AOL teachers are giving sessions on scriptures these days. Are you thinking of something like that?
Yeah, I also give sessions and things like that. Right now, I'm doing only limited stuff with Intimate Note to Sincere Seeker. But if people are willing and if you want to organize also, I'm willing to go through all these sessions. Whether Patanjali Yoga Sutra is there, or Ashtavakra Gita is there, Bhakti Gita is there. I'm all willing for it. Okay, it's just that at this moment of time, I want to do this. But if you want to, there is a group in Pune where a few teachers got together and they organized about a few people for Ashtavakra Gita. So every week go through their questions, help them, guide them, whatever Ashtavakra Gita is talking about. So we can do that, no problem.
Great, but there's another comment says, amazing session. So blessed to be a part of it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're most welcome. If you're happy, it makes me happy. Okay. It feels that, whatever sessions we are doing is fruitful. And even if it is fruitful to one person, we will continue doing this.
Great. And so one more question is that should we register for Murugan HM? What is the importance?
Yeah, even I'm hearing about this scripture for the first time. I understand that it is a Tamil scripture and it's good, it's amazing. So, yeah, if you have the bandwidth, if you have the time, please do join. And I will take a decision closer. If I have the time and bandwidth, I will also join and understand. There are going to be translations into Hindi, English, and other languages. So, yeah, it's nice.
Okay, but we can take the question first.
Okay, good. So, any last comments before we end, Dhruv?
No, Bhaiya, thank you so much. And I request everyone to keep sending their questions and join us live and ask questions. It gives us enough fuel to carry on.
Yeah, and it's wonderful. So many of us joined today. Those of us who want to join the sessions on Intimate Note to Sincere Seeker, every day from Monday to Thursday, I am live with these sessions on my Facebook handle, Prashant Rajore page. You can be there around 9:05. Sometimes it's few minutes late, but without fail, from Monday to Thursday, I have these sessions. You can join there. It was wonderful having you here. If you have enjoyed it, please let your friends and family know about these sessions. They can also get some knowledge out of this, maybe some direction to live life, a different perspective to whatever they are facing in life. So good. Wish you all the best and see you next week for another session of Keeping It Simple with Prashant Rajore. Bye and take care. Good night.
Check.
Jai Gurudev.